Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nicole Schumann, reporter from PRNEWS, and I am here today with Meg Lewis, the director of social at GIPHY. We were just saying before we went live that GIPHY has really been one of the bright spots in this year, and we're so thankful for Meg for taking the time to come on and chat with us about all the different things that they're doing. It's been busy, I'm sure, with the election and awards season, and you guys just keep rolling, so we're excited to have you on and talk about different types of creative content and how communicators can get involved with that. So first off, I'd like to talk about our article that we featured you guys in this week about voter registration day. That was Tuesday. My days are getting all mixed up as we go on through this year. But a lot of different companies did things for voter registration day, and I'm gonna share the article here just so we can refer to it. I know Twitter had things everywhere, and Facebook still has stuff up everywhere. The social media companies definitely did a great job with bringing these things available to people, so it makes them easier to register. Also, a cool thing that some of them were doing was just to check your registration to make sure that everything was taken care of and that you did have a plan to vote. So Meg, I want to talk to you guys about the Animate the Vote campaign, which was pretty cool, and just how that came about, and how you guys handled that.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited. A lot of what we've been talking about at GIPHY is how we, as a nonpartisan organization, can get involved in the election in a way that's impactful. And we all sort of agreed that trying to get the vote out is the way to do that, especially because our demographic skews so young, and we have the ability to sort of meet those young people where they are in their DMs, on social networks, in their messages, and in ways that they would actually appreciate, which is gorgeously designed gifts and stickers that are super shareable. So we created a hub where all of the incredible content by brands and partners and artists and even some internal GIPHY resources can live and be accessible for everyone, to sort of have them encourage their friends to register or encourage their friends to check their registration. And we think that's our best way to sort of impact in a way that we have the ability to do so.
That's awesome. And I guess in thinking of this in a strategic level, when did you guys start thinking about this and planning for it?
I think our first conversation was probably in late June, early July. This project took a lot of iterations. Obviously, a lot has been happening in 2020 that made us reframe and rework and make sure that we were doing the best thing possible for all of our users, and not just sort of working in a silo and then launching something, really taking in the atmosphere into account and taking into what our users are looking for and what our partners are making. And this is sort of the conglomeration of all of that.
That's awesome. And as I go here to the Animate the Vote page, there's a lot of different stuff that people can get involved with here. And it seems like you have a lot of partners. Yes. How did that go? I mean, you guys have everyone from, nonprofits like the ACLU to corporations like Credit Karma, all these different, I see some influencers here and whatnot, some universities, and can you kind of go through the process on, I guess, how many partners you guys had and how you got involved with them?
Yeah, short answer is we have an amazing partnerships and brand partnerships team. And I think right now on the page, we're nearing 20 partners. I think that will continue to grow between now and election, which is an amazing thing. And the really amazing thing about this is we were brainstorming ways to get partners involved and engage partners onto this initiative that we were hoping to build. And a lot of these partners were either already on GIPHY and making content, or were already reaching out to our brand partnerships team themselves. So while we did do a bunch of outreach to make sure that we had all of the nonpartisan organizations we are all fans of and knew of and wanted to get them onboarded, a lot of the work were also and should be dedicated to the people that were already updating their pages with all this amazing content and making it on their own.
Oh my gosh, I see Baby Yoda. Very exciting right there. So a lot of these were these created then by digital artists?
So there's a wide variety on there. So each individual partner managed their own content, and we sort of just associated it to this larger channel to make sure everything regarding nonpartisan voting can be in one place. However, we do have some Giphy artists in there, you'll see, which are part of our large artist network. And then a lot of the brands can also hire those artists to make that content for their pages as well.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite GIF from the Animate the Vote campaign?
I think I just saw one yesterday, so it's top of mind. So I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's my favorite today is what I like to say. And it's from the Move Texas account. And it's like, it's called Civic Responsibility, Sweetie. And it just made me laugh so hard that it was like the most 2020 way to get someone to vote. I just really like that.
Oh, those Kardashians, they seem to infiltrate every corner of the universe. Well, that's awesome. And do you guys, obviously voter registration day has passed, National Voter Registration Day, although, some states, there's still deadlines on voting that are coming up in the next few weeks and whatnot. So you guys are going to continue this campaign then through election season, I'm assuming?
Yes, definitely. This is definitely going to be a social-led campaign for the remainder of the election cycle. Each week we'll be highlighting a couple of different organizations on social and making sure that they have their own individual shout out on social and driving back to that larger page as well. And we're working directly with a lot of these partners to do that. So stay tuned throughout the coming weeks. There's definitely more to come.
That's awesome. And, working in social and having to work with these partners, and I know sometimes it can be difficult to just kind of get everything together and logistics and all those sorts of things. So, what are some things that you've learned in terms of creating these social campaigns together, to kind of get this to flow easily?
I think the biggest thing is when people think of social, and I've been working in it for quite a while now, I think when people think of social, they only think in the real time. And while that's such a huge part of working in social and the bulk of what I do, a lot of things can be planned ahead, and it doesn't have to be as real time and stressful as people think working in social does. So my biggest thing is I was so grateful we were having those conversations at the end of June and early July, because now I feel so ready and so much more I have so much more brain space to dedicate to these amazing partners and give them more of my intelligence instead of just my off the cuff abilities, which I think are two different beasts. So I think, just getting ahead as much as possible and not treating everything as do or die last minute, but really thinking ahead, thinking strategically, and engaging the people in your own company as well as externally that you think would make the most impact overall.
What are some tools that you use to get ahead? Do you use things like content calendars, or what are tools that you organize?
I am a calendar fiend. I have separate ones for each project as well as an overall sort of detailing all of those individual projects. So definitely not for the unorganized, I think, is the name of the game.
I hear that. Outlook calendar, Google Calendar. Well, that's great. We do have a question from the audience, and that's exciting. They want to know, how can universities initiate a partnership with Giphy?
Yeah, for sure. We have a bunch of universities on Giphy, and they make amazing content. So if you're starting from scratch, we have amazing creation tools on our site, which is really helpful. However, we also have a very robust FAQ page that sort of gives our best practices for GIFs in general. And then for applying as a page, we have an application process where if you are verified, then your GIFs will be searchable everywhere. We're integrated, which is also really great. And we have an amazing team that reviews all of those applications and is really on top of all of that. So it's usually a quick process, which is great.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. I noticed Harvard was on there in terms of the Animate the Vote campaign. How were they able to get on board with this? And, was there a vetting process of how many universities you wanted involved, or, it just kind of worked out the way it worked out?
I think our partnerships team is probably the best to answer those nitty-gritty questions. However, I think that a lot of the partners that are involved were either already interested, already reaching out about the similar opportunity, or creating voting-related content in and of itself. So I think we just did a sweep of all of this great nonpartisan voting content and who wanted to be involved and who was already involved and who we wanted to be involved. And that all came together to the current list and the growing list.
And, you say you work in social, there's all these different platforms. Giphy works on all these different platforms. Where do you guys find your most extensive reach, especially, with this campaign?
I think it's hard because I definitely don't treat every platform as the same audience. So we tailor a message for where it's being placed. And I think depending on the type of content, the reach can vary widely. For example, we do a lot of live coverage of events and TV shows and award shows and everything like that. And for that, Twitter is our main way to go because that's sort of where the instant conversation is happening. However, for larger brand moments, we sort of make sure every platform is touched in a different way.
I was thinking about awards season and the Emmys, which I did not get to watch, but I heard a lot about. And one of my, favorite things, I looked on there now, I think there are Schitt's Creek Giphies, which is amazing. GIF. I say GIF. I'm not getting into that. But also, I have noticed, and I know Twitter works a lot with TV as well. I know on Twitter now you can like a post that's coming from a television show and it will remind you when to watch it. Do you guys work with, in terms of social? Obviously you're going to be ready for when a new season launches of a popular show or things like that. How big now is your work in working with TV and I guess live events and those sorts of things?
I think it's quite a big portion of our work, which is really amazing and has definitely grown over the years I've been at Giphy, which is also an amazing thing to sort of watch happen in real time. A lot of when I first started at Giphy, it was us sort of trying to get those TV shows interested, letting us live GIF them, doing all that sort of in the weeds coverage. And now we're at the point, and Schitt's Creek is an amazing example. They have sort of made their own Giphy universe that sort of is just tangentially us, but their community is obsessed with their Giphy page. When Schitt's Creek recently just swept all of the first 7 awards at the Emmys, not like I'm counting, I love Schitt's Creek, but they, their channel and their search went crazy right as it was happening on the TV, which is an amazing thing to see for a specific TV show. So I think they have also permeated from their social audience to a Giphy audience as well. So watching that happen was an amazing thing. And award season is huge for us in general. Award season is our Super Bowl, not the Super Bowl. So we definitely like to make sure that we're on the cusp of all the shows involved. All the shows are usually on Giphy in some way or another, which is really great. So when we're live Giphying and live tweeting the award shows, we have both the channel's official content as well as the content we're creating from the award show in real time. So there's no shortage of content over here, which is a blessing.
Yeah, it's so amazing too. I remember, even a few years ago when, you would have GIFs for shows, it would mostly be, a scene from a show and, with a line and those are still very popular to share. But now, even the shows are getting involved with, more digital art and, illustrations. I think a lot about Broad City in that aspect and those sorts of things. And I think it's so cool to see the different creativity and the different content that's coming out in different ways that people can share. Yeah,
I totally agree. We definitely are getting to the next level of what GIFs with TV can mean and look like.
Yeah, that's incredible. So just getting back to working with partners, because I know we have an audience with lots of different people coming from different backgrounds, whether it's agency, whether it's a brand, whether it's a smaller nonprofit, smaller events teams. So what is the benefit in general? And I'm sure you've worked also with partners at other places, besides Giphy. What is the benefit of working with partners, when it comes to content? And what are some of the things that people should be aware of or look out for?
So I think the biggest benefit, and just bringing it back to Animate the Vote to give that sort of specific example, is that for all of these different partners, all of them have different audiences and reach different groups and demographics that maybe Giphy already is reaching, but not giving that specialized content to. So for example, a bunch of the partners from Animate the Vote, you mentioned a couple, but we have the Black Voters Matter Fund, Univision, Students at Harvard, Texas Voters, and Move Texas. All those amazing partners all reach a diverse set of people. And we want to make sure that if that diverse set of people is coming to Giphy at all or voting, that they have something that represents them specifically. Having those sort of traditional vote, go register to vote, gifts and stickers are super important, but it's more impactful when they're sort of targeted to a specific group and making that specific group feel seen and heard and inspired individually.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems at times now you can post a GIF and it will have so much more of an emotional impact, than even words. Now, and I think that's helpful. I think visualizing things helps a lot of people understand stuff. Even seeing some of the news organizations on their own websites using GIFs to explain a weather crisis or explain COVID, maybe like COVID spread and things like that. So it's definitely an art that has been adapted to almost everything, which is great, in learnings and for education, and also just for making people feel good or more informed or part of something, which I think is very important. I know this is a random question. Do you have any idea which is the most popular GIF to date?
Oh gosh. So every year we do a year in review, and we say the most popular GIF of the year. So that will be coming this year. And last year it was Jasmine Masters and I Oop, which was a really big, exciting day because I love that GIF and I love Jasmine Masters. So I don't know if I could say the most popular GIF of all time, but if you ask anyone at Giphy, their favorite GIF probably changes weekly. So I don't even know if I could give you that, narrow it down even that far.
So GIFs are obviously populated from, not you guys, because that would be so many to do, but they're populated from the public in most aspects. So how can folks, make their own GIFs for events or campaigns, or, just if they're hanging out at home and they're just like, oh, I saw this show, or, I saw this video, I want to make a GIF, how can people do that on their own?
Yeah, so anyone can sign up for a Giphy account, and getting verified just means it will appear everywhere we're integrated. But if you have a Giphy account, it'll be available on your profile, and you can send and tweet and whatever you want from each GIF that you make. And then in terms of making it for just the average person at home, we have, like I mentioned before, some really amazing creation tools. My favorite is called Giphy Capture, which is a transparent box over your screen that you can sort of change the size of and record, and then it will pop in as a GIF. You can adjust the time and put some cool effects and some text on it. So that's, I think, I think it's the gateway to Giphy, because you get really addicted to it and want to screen record everything and make a bunch of GIFs, and your family will probably get annoyed at the beginning, but they'll
Oh man, I remember 2014, I think I was using Adobe to make GIFs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I will say the new tools are very nice and easy for anyone to use. So if that is something that you do want to get involved with, that is always a welcome choice for people like that.
I tell everyone who's interested that I am the least adept at Adobe or anything like that, and I love Giphy Capture. So I hope that's enough of a testimonial.
That's awesome. That's great. What are, and aside from, the voting, which has been a great campaign, and some of the events and different things that have been going on, what are some other great examples of brands using Giphy in interesting ways?
I mean, there are so many, and we're so thankful for how many partners we have, which are in the many, many thousands. I do think that the best example of Giphy is our artist community. We have thousands and thousands of artists on this massive artist community, and they raise the bar every single day. Every time we release a new feature, they're the first to sort of put it into practice and make it look amazing. And they've always been sort of the bread and butter of Giphy, and always make the best content reflecting not only real-time trends, they're always on the cusp of culture and knowing when things are happening that are sort of bigger than individual moments on social, but in the larger world. And I think that they sort of have raised Giphy up to a place that maybe we couldn't have even seen. So I visit the artist tab, the artist directory tab on our site whenever I want to be inspired or excited about something new that I don't quite grasp yet, because they put it into a way that's beautiful to look at, but also super inspiring.
That is a really good idea. I didn't even think about looking at the artist tab, but even, maybe brands or people that are looking, like you said, to be inspired for new content types of creation, or just to kind of find what's trending out there. If you want to adapt your content in a way that, please make it authentic,
Right.
not forced, but it's almost like if you're a Redditor and you want to find out, what the latest news is going to be coming up, or trends, or those sorts of things. A lot of people go to Reddit, but I also think, going to a place like Giphy is a place to see what people are interested in, where people are looking. And I think that's a really good point to make. If people are looking to kind of look at culture as a whole and see what might fit in with their brand and those sorts of things.
Absolutely.
So that's awesome. Well, Meg, I want to thank you so much for joining us. This goes very fast. I love Giphy, and I'm looking forward to all of the gifts coming up in the holiday season, those sorts of things. I'm a huge NFL fan, so if there could be some more Buffalo Bills gifts, I would appreciate that. Personal request. But they've been really good, the new ones that have been coming out. But I also, before we go, just want to let you guys know this is a great lead into next week, when we are going to be, I don't even know what you say for a live event now. It's usually, on site. Now we're remote. Is it launching an event?
Yeah.
I don't know, because we do it every year. But our Social Shakeup annual conference starts virtually on Tuesday, and we'll be there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we have awesome speakers from all sorts of brands. We have a keynote from Twitter, which I just saw a preview of. The speaker's really good and talks a lot about visual creation, visual content, and trying to get people's attention. So we have that coming up, and we still have registration available. So, and if, we have all, it's live, but it's also, going to be recorded. So if you need to go back and those sorts of things, which is a cool thing about the virtual conference, is that we are very happy about. So this will also be recorded and live on our site later, so you can revisit Meg's wonderful comment and hear all about the Animate the Vote campaign and some inspiration for what you may have for upcoming campaigns as well. So thank you again. If you're interested in Social Shakeup, we'll be sharing that link on the LinkedIn page. And I hope everybody stays well and safe and has a great day.